Hello, YouTube people and Tim Time watchers. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but right now I'm trying GoPro. In fact, I'm going to pull it in a little bit because it's way out there, so I can actually see on here what we're looking at. It still looks pretty good, other than the fact that I'm in the picture. My regular camera, and this thing's been great so far. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. It's a Samsung, I think. Pretty sure it's a Samsung. Well, some klutz knocked it over again, and it hit pretty hard. So I don't know if it's even going to work. But I'm going to try with this with both cameras, and I'm just curious to know how this GoPro works. I don't even know how long it'll last. I charge the batteries. We'll see what happens. But there's something I wanted to check and do, so we'll integrate that into the set. But also, in the meantime, as part of the GoPro, I downloaded the GoPro app, and I can control it from here. So I can turn it off. I don't know if I can pause it, but I can turn it off, and probably as I learn it, I can do more stuff. So let me get this. I want to get this up and running and see how this little guy is working. If it's even working at all anymore. Everything seems to be working. Oh, I just turned it off. It's been, what, 5 minutes since I've used a new camera, and I forgot how to use the old one. Alright, so there we go. It's up and running. And we hit record. Seems to be recording. So what I wanted to do today was look at something. Old garage door opener. And I actually have a problem with the garage door outside, but it's too darn cold to go out there and mess with it. So this was an old garage door opener I found, and I'm just curious. It's a transmitter, isn't it? So it should put out a signal. Is it a signal we can pick up? So what I wanted to do was just see if I could pick it up. So I think I looked these up one time, and they're somewhere, I'm not sure if this one is, but they're somewhere around the neighborhood of 300 megahertz. And this is a Craftsman, an older Craftsman, so I think it sends maybe a data burst or something at around 300 megahertz. So we should be able to see a signal. So first thing I wanted to try and do was make an antenna of some type and put it into the scope. So I can see there's some noise on there. I don't know what that's from. I have no idea. But here it is, and I had two different methods for an antenna. I figured we'll try this one first, because if it's that frequency, it'll be a very short antenna, 300 megahertz. And you know, you may look at this and say, but Tim, that's just a short circuit. Well, remember with radio frequency, it's not really a short circuit, because you could probably fit a couple wavelengths on there. If it was DC, yeah, it's a short circuit. So we'll try that, and then we'll try this too. And I think this is more designed to be kind of like in the HF band, but I'm not sure. AM loop antenna. So that's a pretty. It's like want to run 1 megahertz. So that's going to be not the right resonant antenna. So we'll just try this first. And again, I just picked some wire. I don't have anything. Let's see if that works. Pushing it. All right, I can see something happening. Is it? Let me zoom this in a little bit. There you go. So let's see. Yeah, there's something definitely there. And as long as I'm holding it in, it's trying to do something. Now that's saying 54 megahertz, but it's not really a dependable signal. And shortly after I let go, it drops. So it's definitely this that's sending that signal out. Let me see if I can. Well, no, we're increasing the voltage, but there's a lot of noise on there, and I don't know if all that noise is just ambient noise that's from the leads and everything else, or if it's picking up this data burst. But it'd be kind of interesting. Let me see. Oh, you can see the signal in there again. But that's saying 24 megahertz. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's try this guy here. Let's see what we get when we try this. This is the one of these. I was trying it for when I was working on the Holocrafters to see if it would help with any signal. It was only a couple bucks. Don't bother. Long wire is your best bet for the AM or for the HF receiver bands and stuff if you don't have a regular antenna. All right, so let's try this. I can see some noise in there, but nothing. Yeah, you can just see a little bit of noise, but not as good as with this. So let's see, let's look for something even shorter. How about this? How about we do this? A little piece of metal here. I want to just see what happens, because I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. No, you can't. I'm going to back you out so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Just a piece of metal. There we go. That's now it's saying 72, 73 megahertz. So, and like I said, remember that, yeah, for DC this would definitely be a direct short, but not so for AC, and the higher you get into frequency. That's why some antennas look like opens at certain frequencies, and it shorts, and depends on where on the wavelength you're measuring it. I'll back it down here. Wonder if this would be an accurate test to see what the what the wavelength would be as I move this down. Just, but it's pretty big right there. All right. Well, anyhow, let's see. So we are definitely getting a signal from this. Whether there's going to be a way to check that actually data that it sends. I think that's what it sends, is some type of data. You know, because there's a dip switch, I think, in the garage, or on these, I think on this one, if I remember correctly, you had to hold a switch in and it would self-program it, and there's so many different codes it can have. So let me pop it open, and we'll see if we can figure out where. Well, it might be a little bit hard to do that, because when you pop it open you lose the battery contact, but we'll see what we can do. So let's see. I'm going to turn the light on for you here. That's what the inside of the battery, or the inside of the garage door opener looks like. Trying to find a way to do this so I can rest my arm. This is more a test for this camera to see if it's still working. Alright, so here's where the battery would sit. It actually sits in this side here. And it makes its contact by just pushing against this, and then this tab here, I'd imagine, pushes against right here. So if you have one of these isn't working, when you open up, if you replace the battery, make sure you clean that, and maybe give these tabs a little bend up too. So I'm going to have to put it under the scope here, or the magnifying glass. I don't have the scope out yet to see if I can figure out where the signal actually radiates from, or what would be the antenna, and then maybe we can test it from there. But so you're not staring at my head. I have to just get out of the way. I'm going to pop the circuit board. Let me back out again so you can see really what I'm doing. I'll try and pop the circuit board out. There's like a little leg here that has a tab on it. Looks like that holds it, and there it is. So there's the circuit board in its entirety. If you turn it over, not really a lot to it. There's different. I should have checked the other switches. I never thought about that. I'm wondering if this circle right here could possibly be the antenna. There's a C3, I would imagine, is a capacitor, maybe adjustable, possibly. A little wire on that, maybe. I'll have to bring it out of the case. Or maybe we could put 3 volts right. This is a 3-volt battery that this takes. I forget what the part number is. It's a common battery. It is a 2032 3 volts. So let's see, the positive would go here, and the negative. The positive is going to go right to the circuit board, and the negative is going to be that little leg. So, fire up the power supply. I don't know if I have the cord for it. Why does everything have to be so difficult? Let me get some test leads and we'll just use this battery here. So that would be the positive lead. How am I going to jump onto the negative? A little tab. Again, everything has to be so hard. A little staple. I wonder if that'll work. All right, maybe that'll work. Remember, oh great, 2 green ones, that's never good. I'll screw that up for sure. All right, we want, this green one's going to be the positive, and we said that's actually going to be touching the board, and the other one, this one will be the negative, and that's going to touch this here doohickey. Move that camera in a minute so you can see better what I'm doing here. Okay, so there we go. Using that battery. Come on. Times 10. Where is it? Somewhere in here there's a way to do this. The times 10 probe. Okay, we're good. Alright, we'll put the ground to ground. Hopefully. I'm trying to watch that my alligator clips don't touch each other. Don't have enough hands. That won't work. Let's see. I don't know if this will work either. I wonder if I can clear that up anymore. This thing's loading it down too much. There it is. Pretty weird looking signal though. Let's try, that's the one. Let's try another one. What happened? We lost everything. There's one. There's two. There's three. So the three switches work, and they send out. You can see it's not just simply an on-off carrier thing, but there's some kind of intelligence on there. Well, anyhow, that's how the signal looks. So maybe we can find a way to dissect it more, but mainly I just wanted to see if I did get a signal, a transmission from this, which I am, and if both cameras are still working. Hopefully I turn this one back on. Yep, it's still recording. And looks like you have a pretty good overall look with that one as well. So I'm going to try and combine them together and see how things... And we can perhaps get out and look at the one in the garage, the actual garage door opener. The problem it's having, I think it's either going to be a sensor or maybe one of the wires from one of the sensors got maybe smashed with a staple or something. But the only way to get the door to go down is to hold it. And I went out the other night, it was still dark out, and I looked and I saw the light was flickering on the receiving sensor. So I went and tried moving them both around, and it didn't change anything. So I'm assuming it's not just an alignment problem. But I was wrong once before, so I could be wrong again. So let me put this mess back together. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. I don't even remember why I have it. I think it was for the old Craftsman garage door opener I had at the other place, and it was just very, didn't always work. And now I'm seeing the way that these batteries make contact. That may have been the problem. Maybe they got a little oxidation on it or anything, but I replaced it with an aftermarket and it worked fine for years. So I just never messed around with it, and I just found it after the move, and I thought, I'm going to tear into it and see what makes it tick. Again, like I said, didn't really do any research on these things. I kind of thought I knew how they work, and maybe now I'll have to do some research to see if there's a way I can see anything a little bit better from that data burst, if that's what it is. Get this out of the way here. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, I'm starting to unload stuff, and the more stuff I unpack, the more stuff I end up amassing. So I had the desk pretty well cleared off and was starting to put stuff away, and then more stuff came out. I still got another box full of junk that was in these drawers that I'm not going to save it all, so it's taking me a little bit of time to get through it. But yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I know it's going to be really cold, so I don't know if I'll get to go out and do that garage door opener or not. And I know you were hoping that I would have the Golden Eagle on. I could have made another contact on it, but I didn't have time. Hope you're working on practicing your Morse code. One thing I did want to add, I noticed that I noticed it, but I just forgot to add it, was that the W1AW on their website also saves their text files. So you can write it, if you're sitting in the park and have nothing better to do and want to practice Morse code, you can actually click on the 5, 7.5, 10, 13, whatever the word permitted text file you want. And it's about a 5-minute file, and you can practice with that if you so desire. I know it may seem a little odd, but it's out there, it's available, so what the heck. Thanks for watching, and if you, let's see, what should I say, barn find? I don't know, house moving find? If you're liking it and had a good time, click subscribe, do whatever everybody else says to do on YouTube. I don't know. But thanks for watching, and hopefully it helps somebody that's going to work on one of these, and now they know what to look for. See ya. I got to figure out how to turn all this stuff off.